Have regular, boring scales got your students uninspired at the piano? I'm going to be totally honest with you guys today. I kind of don't like playing scales. As a student, I never enjoyed playing scales, maybe just because it didn't seem that impressive. And I really just wanted to play things that I could show off to my family or show off to my friends. And I wasn't so excited about playing an E major scale for 2 octaves. It's not like I was going to bust that out whenever somebody came over to my house. Hi, my name is Sara Campbell. I am one of the Upbeat piano teachers, and today's topic is all about scales. And I've got a really cool scale pattern that I'm going to show you that has my students actually pretty excited about playing scales. And it actually has me practicing my scales even when I'm not teaching. All right, so welcome to the broadcast. If you are tuning in, please be sure to say hello. Oh, I see some people are here already. Hi, Melissa. Melissa DeGiorgi says scales, and she has a little heart thing here. I'm going to get my comments to be bigger today. Yay. We love scales, right? Sometimes we love scales. Oh, Susan, thank you so much. Susan says, I hope you're feeling better. As you can tell, my voice is still a little gravelly. I am on something like day 10. I had a complete vocal loss last week, so that's why I missed you guys on Friday. So I'm so glad that I get to join you today. Again, welcome to the broadcast. My name is Sara Campbell. I'm with the Upbeat Piano Teachers, and today's topic is all about scales. But before we get into that, I just wanted to tell you, if you are tuning in live or on the replay, please be sure to tell me where you're coming from and let me know, do you like teaching scales? How do you feel about teaching scales? Let's be honest. If you enjoyed today's broadcast, please remember to share this video, even if you share it to your own timeline so that you can reference it later, because I have a really cool exercise I'm going to show you today. So back to the topic. Scales can be boring. Nobody gets really inspired to play this. It's just not that exciting, right? So it sometimes can be really hard to encourage our students to get excited about scales at the piano. So I've been struggling with this for a while. I teach scales, obviously, because it's really important for our students to understand the theory behind scales and how they relate to the pieces that they're playing. But I was having a hard time finding something that would inspire my students to get excited about scales. And you guys, those of you who have tuned into other broadcasts know that I'm kind of an excitable person and I like piano lessons to be exciting. So enter the windmill scale. I came across this pattern a couple of years ago. A friend of mine, Kevin, mentioned it to me during a workshop that we were doing together. And I was like, oh, this looks so cool. He said, oh, my students always do this windmill scale. And the student that I have has done all the windmill scale in all 12 keys. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Windmill scale? Huh? And so he sat down to the piano and he showed me what it was. Basically, it's a parallel and contrary exercise where it just sounds really cool and it looks rather impressive. Oh, I see. I'm going to show you guys the scale in just a second here, but I see so many people tuning in live today. I just want to say hello to Luann. Luann says she's happy to be here. Hi, Caroline, Barbara, and Melissa, and Birdie, and Sarah, or Sadie. Hi, Sadie. We were just chatting on the messenger. So yay, glad to see you here. All right. So here's what this exercise looks like. Let me get this out of the way. And let me get a sip of tea because I can feel that my voice is like not enjoying me doing broadcasting today. Okay, so here is how this scale exercise works. And then I'm going to show it to you, and then I'm going to show you how I teach this to my students. And at the end of this broadcast, I'm going to give you a PDF, a free PDF that you can print out and use with your students in your studio. So here's how this works. The windmill scale is a pattern of parallel and contrary scales, and it starts way low in the bass end of the piano. Once we get to the first octave, the left hand starts going down, but the right hand keeps going up. And the left hand just keeps going back and forth while the right hand is going up a full 4 octaves. And then the right hand comes back down and joins the left hand. Rush through the end of that. So that is basically the windmill scale. I like to break it out to students and I show it to them at a super fast speed and tell them, wait till you see the scale. It's so cool. And I promise you, it's not that hard to learn. So here's how I teach this to my students. Hey, before I do that, does anybody else use this scale? Let me know. Is that pattern familiar to you? Because I came across it in 2 different places. Like I said, a friend of mine showed it to me. And then I also stumbled across it in a book by Philip Johnston called The Scales Boot Camp, which I absolutely love. And I should have brought that over to show you guys. But it's in the blog post that I'm going to share with you later today. Oh, I see some, Caroline says the RCM formula pattern. Ooh. That sounds like official, like, the testing kind of stuff, which is not what I do. But so I'm interested to see where that fits in there. Barbara says, my mantra is pieces are made of scales and triads. Oh, I love this. I should have a t-shirt. I say it so often. Yes. Okay, Barbara says this is very similar to the RCM formula pattern. Exam requires starting at level 2. Okay, so there we go. We actually see that this is part of the, sorry, you guys hear that phone. Sorry about that. So this is part of the RCM thing. See, I never knew this. Learning things from you guys. All right, so here is how I teach this to my students. I teach it by rote. I first show them how cool that scale is. And then what I do is that we talk about, well, what did we just see there? And we get out, these are these like little plastic pocket things. They're really cool. You can see on one side, I've got my treble and bass, so we can notate some stuff. But on the other side, I keep it blank. So what we do is we chart it out. We get our dry erase marker, and what I will do is I will have one of these for myself. Oh, I totally made that too big. Try that again. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I will chart it out first, and then I will show it to my students that this is the pattern that we are following. The right hand's going up 4 octaves, while the left hand is going up, down, and so forth. Then we start talking about, well, how could we break this down? And we will draw a line right in the middle saying, okay, well, let's start by learning the first half of this pattern. And we'll break it down further. What we'll do is we'll talk about, well, how does that right hand do the 4 octaves? Let's talk about the fingering that's involved with that. And once we master that, then we start to add the left hand in. I just do it in tiny steps, showing them the chart, having them chart it out themselves, having them draw it in their assignment sheets so that they have a reference when they go home. Sometimes I'll even make like little videos. I'll do a little cell phone thing where I'll have them hold my cell phone above my hands, and so that they're part of the process and they kind of think that's cool. And I will show them a certain part of the pattern and I talk it out on the video, and then we text that to mom or dad, and then they have a reference video when they're at home. So that is how I do. We start by, this is called, again, I call this the windmill scale exercise because my friend Kevin called it the windmill. Now I call it the windmill, and now my entire studio calls it the windmill. And our first step is to chart it out and kind of look at it. And I teach it by rote. Then what I do is that I will bring out the score after they learn it so they can see what they're playing because it looks so impressive. And I show them, I say, this is what you're playing. And their eyes bug out of their head because they're like really excited about it. And they're like, wow, that is a really big scale. And on this PDF, actually, that I'm going to share with you today, what I have done is I've given you the regular pattern, and then I've notated a rhythmic variation of this that I use with students. And this one's really fun. I love this rhythmic variations. So it's ta, ti, 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 ti. and that just makes it a little snazzier. Another rhythmic variation that I like to do is to do a swing and so forth, or a reverse swing, which sometimes makes my brain hurt, and so forth. So I have them, I chart it out, I teach it by rote, then I have them look at the score and they get really impressed with themselves. We talk about different rhythmic variations that we can use with it. And that is how I teach what I call the windmill scale in my studio. I see quite a few people chiming in with some things. Elizabeth says that she was taught a similar pattern during her grad school studies. Man, if I had been taught this pattern during school, I would have played my scales more. Elizabeth, these pockets are found on Amazon, and I never remember the exact title of them. I think they're just called dry erase pockets, but I will tell you this. The blog post that I'm going to send you guys today has a link to this on Amazon so that you can just follow that one. So here we go. Oh, Suzette says something, that the YouTube video, there was a similar thing there. Oh, and that the left hand, in one octave. Well, let's talk about that for a second. So I almost forgot to tell you that I do something else with this scale that's super neat. I started teaching this to my intermediate students, and then I thought, well, could I come up with a smaller version of this for my young kids? And so what I did is I created what I call this my windmill prep. It's half the length and it only does 2 octaves in the right hand. So what it does is we can start it low. This one, you don't need as much space. What it does is that it only goes 2 octaves up in the right hand. So you get a parallel scale and then 1 contrary motion scale. And it just comes right back down. So I teach this to my late elementary students. Once they have a parallel scale and a contrary scale under their fingers, I tell them, oh, let's try and put these together. And then we have like a really cool sounding exercise. And again, if you put it with the rhythmic variation that I mentioned, it sounds really impressive. And I encourage my students to master that and then to show off to mom and dad, show off to your friends, and show how cool you can play these amazing scales. So that is what I do. If you guys are interested in getting a hold of this PDF, it took me forever to make this blog post, but I made a blog post for you guys. And not only does it have the PDF in it, but it also has videos, overhead videos of me playing the scales. So they're linked on YouTube. You'd actually send them to your students if they needed a reference to like look at that particular scale. So if you're interested in getting this, I want you to type the word windmill below in the comments, and the Upbeat bot will send you a link to a couple of things. She's going to send you a link to my blog post that talks about the windmill scale. At the bottom of, you get to have a little bit more detail about how I came about this scale, and I talk a little bit about how I teach it. At the bottom of the blog post, you can download this for free. All you do is put your name and your email in, and then it sends you right to the PDF where you can download this. You can use this with all of your students. And then on there, I also have a link in the Upbeat bot is going to send you a link to our new YouTube channel, which I'm really excited about because we just released it last week, and we actually have all of the Friday 5 lives plus all of the teaching videos that Tracy has done on our Upbeat page and that I've done over the past like year and a half. We have all of those videos on YouTube, so you can go through those and get a hold of every single video that we've done. So again, to get a hold of this, all you have to do is type the word windmill below, and the Upbeat bot will send it to you. And I'm just gonna ask a little favor of you guys. When you get that link, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. The more subscribers that we get, the closer we get to being able to do cool stuff on our YouTube. And so I'm hoping that we'll reach that mark this year. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I really appreciate all of your comments. And again, thanks for all the well wishes, guys. When I couldn't tune in last week for our broadcast, I had a few teachers who reached out via private message to say that they hoped I felt better. And that was really nice. So thanks, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure that you like us at Upbeat Piano Teachers on our Facebook page. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you enjoyed today's podcast, please share. All right, guys, I hope you have a fabulous, fabulous Friday, and we will see you next time.